Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Canadian Shield, your source for trusted analysis. My name's Sterling. I'm your host. Justin Trudeau and Pierre Poilievre were in the House of Commons talking about the state of the country, and Justin Trudeau was trying to avoid answering any straightforward or any direct questions that came out of the Conservative Party, which is something I guess we've come to expect from the Liberals, that they just simply speak down to you or weave and dodge, and they never actually just come out and say directly an answer. And today was no different. Now, before I get into it, I would encourage you to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share this channel with all your socials. When you thumbs up, when you make a comment on this channel, you convince the algorithm that other people might be willing or wanting to watch it. And the algorithm is right now the biggest way that the Liberal Party manipulates censorship. So they turn down people that don't concur with their behavior. And the best way to combat that is to give it a thumbs up, give it a comment. Every comment, every thumbs up is basically telling Justin Trudeau that you don't agree with his, not only do you not agree with his policies, you don't agree with censorship. Now, a lot of you have expressed to me how you don't really like the fact that Justin Trudeau, his voice triggers you or the things that he says trigger you. But we have to allow him to have his say so that those that are blinded by the ideology can see just how little it makes sense. Now, I don't know if I'm going to maintain this particular format throughout the entire House season, but I will do it for this particular episode. So I'm just going to let you hear the exchange between the two of them, and then I'm going to point out what I believe to be massive inconsistencies on the part of Justin Trudeau and the Liberal Party.
After 9 years of NDP Liberals, taxes up, costs up, crimes up, time's up. And now he wants a 300% carbon tax hike, all the way up to 61 cents a litre. Why not let Canadians choose a common sense conservative government that will axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime now?
If the opposition had spent any time listening to Canadians over the summer, he would have heard that they need solutions. They need answers to the challenges they're facing. That's not what he's offering. Indeed, he doesn't care about Canadians. He just cares about himself and his own political interests. We're going to keep focused on doing the things that he refuses to do, whether it's him voting against dental care, whether it's against him voting against child care, whether it's him voting against a national school food program. We're going to still deliver the things that matter to Canadians, like food in kids' bellies, childcare spaces, and supports for seniors to go to the dentist.
Children are hungrier than ever after 9 years of the NDP Liberals. In fact, 25% of them are not getting enough food, and we now know why. A carbon tax fraud has been perpetrated by this NDP Liberal Prime Minister, who kept secret Environment Canada documents that showed that the carbon tax was blowing a $25 billion hole in our economy. Our economy per capita is smaller today than it was 10 years ago, during which time the American economy has grown by 19%. Instead of a reckless plan to hike the tax to 61 cents a litre, why not allow Canadians to vote to axe the tax?
The newsflash for the Conservative leader. Climate change costs money. And what would cost the most money to Canadians at all is his do-nothing climate plan. Newsflash. When the Toronto subway gets flooded, it costs money. Newsflash. When forest fires hit communities across this country, it costs Canadians money to rebuild. When you have droughts that hit farmers and agriculturists across this country, it costs money. What doesn't cost money is putting money in 8 out of 10 of the money of Canadians' pockets with the Canada Carbon Rebate to support their families and fight climate change.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister just proved my point. His tax doesn't stop floods, fires, or droughts. All it does is create more poverty. This also from a high-flying, high-taxing, high-carbon hypocrite who flew 92,000 kilometers in a fuel-guzzling, tax-funded private jet while he taxes single moms and seniors for heating their homes. Now, carbon tax Carney wants him to put the tax back on home heating oil? Will he reject carbon tax, Carney, and instead allow Canadians to choose to axe the tax?
The Conservative leader doesn't believe in climate change, and that's why he has a do-nothing plan to fight climate change. It would cost Canadians money and challenge the future we're building for our kids. Our plan, with the Canada Carbon Rebate, puts more dollars in 8 out of 10 Canadians' pockets right across the country, supports the middle class and people working hard to join it, while delivering the kinds of investments that are going to grow our economy and reduce emissions at the same time. This is a responsible climate plan that fights climate change and supports Canadians. He wants to do nothing. He wants to hurt Canadians.
Wow, what a load of propaganda that was coming out of our Prime Minister. And now you can see why they're so desperate to try and put safeties on the internet, because they don't want, all of the fact checking on the 8 out of 10 that we went through last year. We know that that is just not true. We know it, and you just keep saying it because you don't care what we know. You insulting our intelligence doesn't bother you. You insulting the way that we have to pay extra for every single solitary product that we have as a direct result of this carbon tax doesn't bother you in any way, shape, or form. The fact that it doesn't bother you is a little bit shocking, if I'm honest to you. The fact that you don't care how much hardship you've brought onto the shoulders of Canadians, and you think that the carbon tax and the cost and the 25% increase in food and the 50-some% increase in rent, or 60% it is now, is somehow going to be offset by a couple of $100 every few months. And that's if you're a family, and that's if you're living in one of the higher regions. If you're in a smaller region, it's not even, it's like $100. And I don't see how any of the economic disasters that the Liberal Party has brought to Canada is being offset by that little bit of money. What is he really doing with that money? That's really the question that we want to know. How much interest is being accumulated on, the kind of money that gets amassed in the course of 90 days? Quite a bit, I should imagine. So where is that money going? What is he doing with that money? And why is it that he will give the break on the carbon tax to people that are voting for him, but those that don't vote for him don't get a break? Is that the kind of democracy that the Liberal government is offering? Is that the kind of person that our Prime Minister is, that he will pick and choose who he supports and who he doesn't under the guise of trying to fix the environment, a problem that will never be solved by no matter what Canada does? When you have 2 billion people in Asia not caring about how much carbon they put up in the air, our tiny little contribution is not changing a single thing. And they say, it fights climate change, it keeps emissions down, but it doesn't. It just means that everything that we have to do, it's not like you said, grocery chains have said, we have to pay the carbon tax, so now we will stop moving food on our trucks. It's not as if Justin Trudeau says, I don't have any, I don't want to pay the carbon tax, so I won't fly my private jet all over the country every couple of days. It's not as if Mark Carney has done that either. There's all kinds of examples of how the carbon tax is not impacting any of the usage. It's only costing the Canadian at the door, at the pump, at the cash. Right? I mean, food still has to be shipped on trucks. It weighs a lot. Everything gets moved on a truck, and those trucks have not stopped running. Planes have not stopped flying. We just hammered out a negotiation with Air Canada while the Trudeau government was screaming that it's very important for the Air Canada to be up and running. But if we were trying to fight climate change, shouldn't airplanes be the first thing we get rid of? I mean, we know that one airplane will burn so much more fuel than 100 cars. And yet the Liberal government tells you that they're curbing emissions while they put money in your pocket. They're making you rich on the carbon tax. Don't you know that? It's not a transfer of wealth from the have-nots to the have-yachts. It's the transfer of wealth from the have-yachts to you've got it in your pocket. Just ask Justin Trudeau or Mark Carney or Chrystia Freeland. They'll tell you. Yeah, you won't realize that you don't have any money to spend. Your food is through the roof. Your rent is through the roof. You're worried about whether or not you're going to have to move into your car. But don't worry about any of that. That's all propaganda. That's all misinformation. What is reality on the ground is that, 8 out of 10, blah, 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 blah. I mean, nobody believes it, but he still continues to say it. Nobody believes it because it was debunked. Nobody believes it because when they go to the store, they see the cost difference. But let's just set that aside. Let's just focus on the concentration on the effort that he said it's curbing climate problems. Nobody has stopped buying as much fuel. The fuel companies are still making a lot of money. So what exactly is he stopping? It's not like farmers are not going to put carbon in their greenhouses. And it is like you got to go to the store and pay nearly $6 for 3 peppers, though. That's true. Or anything grown in Canada is 4 times as much as it costs if it's grown in Mexico. But the federal government, the Liberal government, Justin Trudeau, they don't care about any of the impact that it's having on your daily life. They don't care. They jet set around the country. They eat food on your tab. They drink all the booze they can get their hands on your tab. They vacation on your tab. And they tell you that if you question them, they're going to censor you or that you're some sort of American, blah, 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 blah. They never say, listen, we were going to fix these problems. They never show you how they're going to fix them. They all just say the same thing. Well, it's all for the future. Well, I want to live right now. I live right now, not in the future. So if you can't come up with a system that benefits both the now and the future, then get out of the way. So those of us that can figure out a better system can do so without the interference of your far left ideology that's simply destroying what was once a nice, peaceful nation. All right, I'm going to wrap here. I want to thank y'all for listening. I'll talk to you next time.